Whether the team is giving us the highest of highs or the bluest of blues, we'll cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So, Sunday's game, the season finale in 2023 against the Dallas Cowboys, or for the 2022 season, rather, against the Dallas Cowboys at home. Washington will be wearing their all-white uniforms, white on white. Sonny Jurgensen, his number will be retired, number 9 at halftime. It'll be a nice, situation, and I think well-deserved for Sonny, and probably a long time coming. This probably should have been done, decades ago. But nonetheless, it's never a wrong time to do the right thing. So there is a reason, if you're a Washington fan, to be in the building and to come and support the team if you're disappointed with the outcome of the season. That said, let's keep it a buck, okay? And there's still the crowd out there, and I acknowledged them yesterday on the live stream, that there's still a crowd out there that no matter what, they want to beat Dallas, and to each its own. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to root as a fan. If you want Washington to win tomorrow, you sit in front of your television at 4:25 on Sunday afternoon and you root like hell for Washington to find a way in miracle fashion to beat the Dallas Cowboys. Knock your socks off, okay? I'm going to tell you what I'm looking for in the final game of the 2022 season in Week 18 in a meaningless game against the Cowboys, who are playing for an opportunity to win the NFC East. 1, draft positioning, okay? I am not concerned with an 8th win this season, okay? 8-1 doesn't move the needle. 7-9-1 doesn't move the needle. I could care less about an additional win. 7-9-1, 8-1, shit's all the same to me. No playoffs. That's what I'm looking at. And if you're out there, you say, well, 8-1 is 500. Whoop did he do? Great job. Good job, Rivera. You got past 7 wins. That's excellent. The difference between 7-9-1 and 8-1 is probably roughly 8 to 9 draft spots. If you're really concerned, interested, hopeful for the future, you'd want the draft positioning. You'd want those 8 spots. It'd be a different story. Like 2020, we had the same discussion, but the difference was you were going to the playoffs. And a lot of you wanted to forego the playoffs for the draft position. And I'm like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. That was different. We're not going to the playoffs. So a win here doesn't do you any good. Other than you can say to all of your Cowboys friends, we beat you. Great. You know what they're going to say? We're going to the playoffs, and you'll be watching us when we play in the playoffs. That's number 1. Number 2 is we're going to get some of the Sam Howell sampler. Okay, we're going to get a taste of the Sam Howell sampler to see if it's something that we would like to have them bring out the entire entree, right? Just a little sampler. Let me see what it tastes like. If it's delicious, delicioso, you know what? I'll take the whole enchilada there, okay? Let's see what you really got. Well, let's give you a full 17 to show us what you're made of, all right? Now, again, don't want to make too much of this game. If he goes out and plays well and gives us a chance and you're intrigued, and that's all I'll be, whether he plays poorly or he plays great, all I'll be is intrigued. He could go out, turn it over 3 times, but shows flashes and you go, interesting. He could go out, make no mistakes, throw 3 touchdown passes, run for another one. We score 31 points, lose in a shootout 37-31, or lose or win, in thrilling fashion 31-28. And he's responsible for 4 touchdowns. You know what my response is going to be? I'm intrigued. I'd like to see more. It's not really going to change all that much because it's one game. That's why it's a Sam Howell sampler. Either way, it's all about Sam, and it's all about draft positioning. If you really want the best of both worlds, you'll get a close game in which Sam plays his ass off, looks like a competent NFL quarterback, and we still lose. if you're looking for the best of both worlds. But again, I'm not going to tell you how to root as a fan. If you're one of those diehards that still hold on to this Cowboys rivalry that really doesn't exist anymore, let's be honest. I brought this up at the end of the show last night, and I said, let's be honest with each other. Is there a real rivalry here? Because the last time I checked, Dallas owns us. There's no fire here. First of all, we're now the Commanders. It was Redskins Cowboys that was the rivalry. And even that shit was starting to, come to a pass because Dak Prescott owns us. A rivalry only exists when there's a give and a take, there's a tug and a pull, there's winning over here, you don't know what's going to happen, anything goes. That hasn't been the case. When Dak Prescott plays, the Cowboys are all but assured of victory. We've only beaten the man once in like 13 or 14 tries. So, hell, we couldn't even beat Cooper Rush earlier this season. I said all of that to say that this game doesn't move me the way that it once did. There's no Cowboys week anymore. Do you really get amped up for Cowboys week? Like, a lot of the shit that we used to have as customs and norms with this organization, those things have gone by the wayside. Daniel Snyder has snatched a lot of the life out of this organization. The things that used to matter with this team don't anymore, which is why this being his last game potentially is monumental. I don't know if we'll ever get back some of the feelings that we used to have about this organization and some of the customs and rituals that we once had. I don't know if those things will ever be back because this team will never be called the Redskins again. But one thing I would like is for these NFC East games to matter again, especially against Dallas. This one doesn't. This one had a chance to matter. We effed it up. In typical fashion, we are the can't get rights. And we had an opportunity, even flailing down the stretch, we had an opportunity to make this Week 18 game for both teams mean something. And we screwed the pooch like we usually do. So now, instead of watching this game intently with playoffs on the line and Dallas looking to try to clinch the NFC East, both teams really needing it and getting after it, I'm talking about a Sam Howell sampler and draft positioning. That's loser talk, but that's where we are. Let's get to in other news, where I want to start by giving a massive shout out to DJ G Wiz, who blessed me on Cash App. He was like, he hit me up on Twitter, was like, yo, what's your Cash App? I sent him my cash tag. I wasn't expecting anything, and voila, he blessed me with a 40 spot. So DJ G Wiz, thank you so much for that awesome contribution, man. And if any of you out there would like to donate, I'm not one that begs. So, but if you want to donate, because again, all contributions are big time. From $1 to $100, it doesn't matter. Anything in between, hell, even less, As a wise woman once said to me, we appreciate the kind that jingles, but we'd rather have the kind that folds. Whatever you can give, it all helps this channel, okay, in ways that you can't even begin to imagine. So, by all means, please support if you can. And I want to send a massive shout out to DJ G Wiz for his contribution. So, today's the day we give away tickets for the final time of the 2022-2023 season. Last home game for the Commanders in their inaugural season. They'll be wearing the all-white unis. And again, as I mentioned, Sonny Jurgensen will have his number retired at halftime of this game. So again, if you are someone that is interested in all of those things, this is the game for you. And you'll see Sam Howell's first career start. Who knows? He could be the next Tom Brady. Highly unlikely, but you could be in attendance for the very first game of Sam Howell. You can tell your kids 15, 20, 30 years from now, I was at that first game. But when the legend of Sam Howell begun, I was at that game. Or it could just be another meaningless Week 18 game for the Washington Commanders. Whatever happens, someone's going to be in attendance because I'm giving away 2 tickets. Let's do that right now. Remember, you have to be a member of the MOBB or Patreon, and you have to use the hashtag SamTime in episode 18-2. We're going to do the drawing right now. Good luck to each and every single one of you who used the hashtag and met all the criteria necessary. Here we go. So, congratulations to Dandrix. If you are out there, Dandrix, all you have to do is get with me on socials, preferably Twitter. Hit me up, and then we'll start the process to get you these tickets. If you don't have social media, that's perfectly fine. You can email me. Everyone has an email, right? You can email me, LouieTeeNetwork@gmail.com. And again, we'll get that ball rolling. Need you to claim these by noon on Saturday, or else our runner-up, Landry Balbin, will be in play for the tickets. And so congratulations to you, Landry Balbin, for being the runner-up here. You also get at me on socials. Hit me up, and we'll be in constant communication. I will keep you abreast of the situation, so you won't be dangling out there not knowing what's going on. I will keep you abreast of whether the tickets have been claimed or not. And if I don't hear from him or I'm having some issues with, Dandrix, boom, you slide into that slot. So just send me your information. And again, much like I said with Dandrix, hit me up on socials, preferably on Twitter, and we'll get the process rolling. And if you don't have socials, no worries. Hit me up on via email, rather, LouieTeeNetwork@gmail.com. Congratulations to you both. Dandrix, you're in the driver's seat. Hit me up and claim your tickets. Thank you for being a valued member of the squad. So, with that said, let's take a final look at the injury report for the upcoming game. They pretty much verbally addressed the injury report. So, no Jonathan Allen, no Sadiq Charles. Let's see, no Antonio Gibson, as we already know. No Andrew Norwell, no Brian Robinson Jr., and no James Smith-Williams, and no Benjamin St-Juste. Now, Montez Sweat, Nathan Gary, Jamin Davis, Cam Curl, all have been listed as questionable. So those guys have a chance to still play. We'll see what happens. My guess is none of those guys play, except for Montez Sweat. Nathan Gary, if he's feeling better, he's going to play. But everyone else on this list, stands for Montez Sweat and Nathan Gary, I think, are out of this game. And really, there's no reason for anybody else to play. If you're not fully healthy, or at this point in the season, I don't think anybody's fully healthy. I think that's a relative term. If you're not, if you don't have a massive injury, okay, yeah, you can play. But if you've got anything that really is uncomfortable, that, you don't need to push through, it's week 18. Call it a day. Call it a season. We'll see you back here next year. Same time, same place, and we'll try it again. So I think Sweat will play and Gary will play. But outside of that, even the guys that are questionable, Cam Curl, Jamin Davis, I don't think those guys are going to play personally. So we'll see what happens. We go to the Dallas Cowboys. And as I told you already, all of these guys are playing outside of Tyler Biadasz, their center, who got hurt against the Tennessee Titans on Thursday Night Football last week. He'll be out for a substantial amount of time. He may even miss the playoffs. We'll see. But all the rest of these guys, Kelvin Joseph, DeMarcus Lawrence, Leighton Vander Esch, Tony Pollard, all of these guys, all hands on deck. When you have a chance to win the number 1 seed, clinch the NFC East, and get a first-round bye, you can't pass that opportunity up. Cowboys have that on the line. If the 49ers lose and they beat the Commanders, and, of course, the Eagles have to lose to the Giants, the Cowboys are now in there as the number 1 seed. Worst case scenario, you win the NFC East, you get the 2 seed, and now every game not played against the San Francisco 49ers is a home game for Dallas. Not that that means anything. We know Dallas is not opposed to losing at home in the playoffs, but it beats the alternative of having to play every single game essentially on the road in the playoffs. Beats the alternative. So we'll see what happens. All of their guys are going to play in this game for the most part. So that essentially takes me to the final outcome of this show. Look, I told you this wasn't going to be a long video. We don't need the game plan. There's no game plan here. You're just getting a bunch of young guys out there. I'll give you a little bit of what I'll be looking for. I want to see what Chris Paul does at guard, whether he's at left guard or right guard. With Andrew Norwell being out, the assumption is he'll be playing left guard, and probably, somebody like Trey Turner will be reinserted at right guard, and they'll try to give Sam Howell some semblance of an offensive line in front of him. He'll have most of the guys there. Sam Cosmi, I think, will be kicked back out to right tackle with no Cornelius Lucas in this game. And Trey Turner will be back in there. He was the day one starter as well. And, you still have Charles Leno Jr. and you insert Chris Paul, see what he's got. Wes Schweitzer will be at center. And that should be a somewhat formidable group. Maybe it's not Trey Turner. Maybe it's Aaron Montero. We saw him in the preseason actually play solid ball against the Kansas City Chiefs. So maybe it's him at right guard and Paul at left guard. I really don't know what the group is going to look like, but he's still going to have a full complement of receivers. And backfield is compromised. No AG, no Brian Robinson. Instead, it'll be Williams and Jarrett Patterson. That's not ideal. But guess what? The last time we played the Cowboys, Jonathan Williams had a damn good game. So we'll see what he's all about. The tight end position is really intriguing because all of the young boys are going to get to play. Logan Thomas will be out there, but I surmise that they're going to have that full group up, especially, Scott Turner mentioned Amani Rodgers getting an opportunity, which we missed him when he got hurt, man. I was really looking forward to getting him back in enough time to make a run, and unfortunately, he wasn't ready last week. We could have used him against Cleveland. And now he's back against Dallas, and I expect him to get some work. Sam Howell has been throwing the football to guys like Amani Rodgers all summer, so there is a working relationship there, and we'll see. But nothing trumps Sam Howell, right? Like, they're going to put Christian Holmes at cornerback. That could get really ugly with CeeDee Lamb and T.Y. Hilton and company and Michael Gallup. I shudder to think at what the secondary is going to look like in this game. But you still got Danny Johnson and Kendall Fuller out there. But Sip is going to get a hard, long look at cornerback in this game. I don't expect much from him. And Percy Butler is another guy that is expected with the injury to Cam Curl to get a lot of reps at safety this week. And so they're going to see what he offers them. They were really excited about him when they drafted him. He's going to get a chance, I think, to play a ton in this game. So really what I'm telling you is I'm looking for a lot of the younger guys to improve in this game. Nathan Gary may get some opportunities at linebacker. I was, not necessarily excited, but I wanted to see what he could bring. He's got some speed and athleticism as a former safety. I wanted to see if he could bring something to the table. That never came to fruition. Now he's going to get an opportunity if he's healthy. He was dealing with an illness throughout the week. I like to think he'll be ready by Sunday. But at the end of the day, this is all about Sam Howell. We can sit here and talk about all these other guys, Chris Paul, Percy Butler, Christian Holmes, and, all the opportunities that other players will be getting, Amani Rodgers. That's cool. But this is really about Sam Howell and what he looks like. And is there any reason to have a hope about his future? And, is he a guy that at a bare minimum, if Heineke is no longer here in the offseason, they decide to move on, maybe Heineke's number, Sport Rack had his number at like 17, 18, 19 million dollars in terms of what he should be getting per year on average. That's asinine. Okay. The better backups in the league are only making 10, 11 million dollars. Taylor Heineke is not worth $20 million a year. So that's an asinine number. I think that number is more along the lines of 7, 8, 9, $10 million a year, nothing north of 10. And, if that number is reasonable, I don't see why he's not back. But in the event that Heineke, isn't back, or, he, priced himself out of our market necessarily, Sam Howell is at a bare minimum supposed to be a quality backup quarterback, if nothing else. And we're hoping that he shows us that he can at least be that with his performance against Dallas on Sunday. But with that said, I don't think this is going to be close. I've already told you this. But here's what I think happens, okay? So you already see the final score, and you're thinking, whoa, that's a pretty big number. Yeah, that's a pretty big ass whooping. And again, it'd only be fitting in Daniel Snyder's final home game, potentially, of his tenure in Washington, that it's an exclamation point to get the hell out of here. 41-13 is what I've got this game being. But understand that this is a close ball game for the first half, and even midway through the third quarter. This is a 20-10 score at halftime. Dallas is up. Washington gets a field goal, and you're talking 7 minutes left in the third quarter. This is a 20-13 game. We're hanging around. And then the floodgates open. Dallas scores a touchdown late third quarter to extend the lead out to 2 scores at 27-13. Early fourth quarter, Dallas scores another touchdown. That's when they start to kind of call off the dogs offensively. It's now 34-13. And then Sam Howell either gets hit and fumbles and it's scooped up and scored by Dallas, or he throws a pick six. Either way, they're going to get one final defensive touchdown to really hammer this thing home. This is what Dallas has done this season. When they've been in competitive games against teams they should beat, they usually, create distance in the second half and win comfortably, like they did against Tennessee, like they did against against the Indianapolis Colts. And I see them doing the same thing to us. It's a close game into the third quarter, halfway through, we're right there down the score, and then all of a sudden the floodgates open. They scored 21 unanswered points and win 41-13. And ride high into the playoffs. They don't get the division because the Eagles beat the Giants, but still they did their part in the game. And we finish up the season at 7-9-1. The Cowboys will finish the season at 13-4. So what says you? Leave it down in the comment section. What's going to transpire in this particular game? What's your score and more? How do we get there? All of that good stuff. If you feel moved, if the spirit moves you to do that, by all means, I'd love to read it. If not, just give me a score and you can keep it pushing, and we'll reconvene at the end of the game for overtime, one final time, or game time, post game, one final time this season. Regarding our Commanders, and then we'll move into the offseason. So that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. I thank you guys for joining me here on Commanders Nightly News. Look forward to chopping it up with you on Sunday. Mob will do it one final time during the game, and then afterwards we will reconvene. Really, the topic of discussion will be Sam Howell and how he performed, and some of the other young guys that get an opportunity and how they performed, and then we'll go from there. And so look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Enjoy the weekend. Look, football on Saturday and Sunday. So, and it'll be this way for the next 3 weeks. Saturday football, Sunday football for the next 3 weeks. So enjoy it, because soon it will exist no longer, and we will be in that 6-month abyss of no ball. And so even though we won't be playing and participating in any of it after this week, just enjoy it anyway. It's professional tackle football, and it won't be on your television screen soon thereafter. So anyway, I digress. You guys get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you on Sunday. Have a good one.
Here comes the Diesel. Here comes the Diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hold. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 35, the 30, the 20.